Today, we are ranking the best formations in FC 25. Welcome back to another episode of Pick 10, and we are joined by a familiar face. We've gone to Sweden. We've got Olle. He's been grinding the content. I know you're playing at the highest degree. How are you feeling coming into this?
Mike, first of all, very, very happy to be back on your channel. Before you guys start to watch the video, don't forget to subscribe down there. I think Mike deserves that. I'm doing some very, very good content for you guys. But I'm doing fine, Mike. How about yourself? You feeling good?
That was very humble of you, as per usual. He comes in humble, and then he beats me in my own games. But I'm doing wonderful. I'm excited for this. And the rules are very simple. We are alternating choices. We're choosing the best formations available, and we are making our cases for those formations. And as the guest, you get to begin. And of course, Olle, so everything will be linked down below. Where are you taking us? Your number one formation in the game.
My number one formation and my favorite formation in this year's game, Mike, is going to be the normal 4-4-2 formation.
Yep.
I think it's a very balanced formation. I think the majority of pros actually play it because it's very, very balanced going forward, but also very balanced in terms of defending. So I think you get everything. You get the fullbacks, you get the width with the wingers, and you also get that kind of partnership up top with two strikers. So for me, 4-4-2 is the best formation in this year's game at the moment.
And just to build off of that, I'd agree. If you're looking for versatility, dynamic capability, and the way that you can play the 4-4-2, whether you want to be defensive or very wide, or even a little more narrow with some of the tactical setups, and I know you've put out multiple videos covering different tactics, it just changes everything around some of these formations.
For sure, and I think they added the roles this year to actually, like you just said, if you want to play the 4-4-2 a bit more narrow, you can use, for example, inside winger on your wingers to make them be a bit more compact into the middle, making it almost like a 4-3-2. So you can change it up a lot more this year, which I like a lot.
There's a couple elephants in the room, but I'm not ready to take them. I'm going to make you talk about them. I believe so, at least. If you've been playing a lot, you've been grinding, you can get some of that foreshadowing. I'm going to go with the formation that I am enjoying using the most. I'm not gonna say it's the best. It's definitely usable. It's definitely viable. I'm throwing it back. I like the 4-1-2-1-2, the second variation. Giving me triangles makes me very happy. And you can still do a lot with the fullbacks if you need that width. But I'm scoring goals. I'm hitting all sorts of different skill moves. And I've got some facilitation with the center attacking mid and those strikers. We've got some interchangeability. I don't know where you fall on it this year.
Personally, I haven't tried narrow too much myself, even though I love the combo as you just explained with a cam and two strikers. I've been using a cam and two strikers in a few other formations, but that might come later in the video. But I think using, for example, the player roles of shadow striker on your cam, when you have a cam and two strikers, I think is very, very useful, having these three kind of more attacking players making these runs in behind and creating chaos for the opponent.
And I like that on the record. I went with something that I really enjoyed. As opposed to going with maybe a couple of the sweat formations. I think that's what's coming next between both of us. So go ahead, lead the way.
Okay, Mike, I'm not going to go with...
he's not going! He's not going!
I'm not moving towards 5-back yet, at least.
Okay, okay.
I will talk about the 4-4-1-1, second variation. I think using a striker and having that cam, like we just explained, in behind is super important. Basically the same as a 4-4-2, but the only difference is you play with a cam instead of two strikers. So I think that cam offers a bit more defensive stability, if that makes sense, being a bit more deeper down, you know, making these basically passes for the opponent be a bit more harder for the opponent to build up, basically. So I think the 4-4-1-1 is a formation that I enjoy a lot, and I've seen a lot of pros use it as well. So that's going to be my second formation.
I agree with you. I could have gone that route. I thought about it after the 4-4-2. If you wanted to remake and replicate that formation, this is the easiest way to do that. And if you're going to see a trend here, everything is around that type of general foundation. When we're talking some of these formations, my next choice, I'm going to go with the 4-2-2, which is still from the exact same shadow realm or selection where you can integrate. It depends how you want your players. With dribbling being so effective, I find with the 4-2-2 you have more space to work with. If you're really good with some of those sprint dribbles or even some different skill moves, if you've got the right personnel, you have a little more time on the ball if you can beat a defender.
Like we talked about in my first formation with the 4-4-2 is quite similar, especially if you decide to play with inside forward or inside wingers in the 4-4-2, making it a bit more compact. So 4-2-2, great formation. I've been using it a lot in the past years as well and had some success with it as well. So I think that's a really, really good choice.
All right, midway point. Is it time that we get into the rat-tastic movement?
Do I want to be a rat? Should I go the rat route? I'm not going to go there yet.
Okay. All right. You're going to make me do it. You're going to make me do it. Go ahead.
Yes. I'm going to make you do it, Mike. My formation, the third one, is going to be 4-5-1, the second variation.
Great formation. Great formation.
Very, very good formation. Kind of the same as the 4-4-1-1 as we talked about. The only difference, though, is that you play with 3 center midfielders instead of a cam. So you get that width. You have a very, hopefully, a very good striker. You get like the 4-back, but it's going to be very, very compact in the middle. So I think this formation is a very, very good formation if you want to play out a game. If you want to go a bit more defensive, if you're leading 75th minute, 80th minute, switch to a 4-5-1 or even start with it from the start. I think it's a bit more complicated to actually go forward with this formation as you have these 3 center midfielders. So you would need to play a bit more maybe attacking midfielders in this formation, like Putellas, Kevin De Bruyne, for example. And then you have just one player like the Ant, like Kanté, for example, who is just clearing out that midfield for himself. So I think overall, really, really good formation. Very, very good in defense. Might lack a bit of the offensive third, but overall a very good formation.
And full transparency, I've been playing this game for 16 or 17 years now. I never thought we would see a variation of a 4-5-1 that was good. It just never fit into the meta. I can't think of a previous year. Maybe to link your players together, but not in-game. I don't know if you've got a counter opinion there, but I just can't remember a year that it was at high levels of effectiveness.
I think we see this formation quite often the past maybe 3-4 years in competitive aspect when people want to defend the lead more, because as I said, it's a very good formation to defend in, but we've never seen it in general in a top 5 formation at the start of the game in any FC game before, to be honest.
Leads me to a nasty midway point, but it's got to happen. I can't believe it got this far. Pick 6 is probably the wrong choice. It should be higher up. There's a couple 5 at the backs that I absolutely disgust, and I'm going to start with the 5-4-1. It is so difficult to break down. It has the width. You can attack in many different ways. You can defend with everybody. The way that some of the tactics work, the track back, it's automated. It bothers me so much that I feel as if I'm not getting outplayed by my opposition, but I just can't beat the personnel or the AI or the formation or the tactics, and I am ready to destroy things.
For sure, and I think it's very, very hard to, not go that kind of route yet. As we said, 5-back, absolutely disgusting this year. You probably, if you're watching pro players play, you've seen a lot of pro players use it as well. So even though, Mike, I'm actually going to go with my 4th pick with another 5-back that I think is better. I need to talk about my 5-2-1-2. I mean, for me, the 5-2-1-2 is basically the best 5-back, and it's basically like we talked about at the start of the video, Mike, with the narrow formation as you were talking about. You have that now with a cam and 2 strikers, and you get the width with your fullbacks, and both of them, in my opinion, need to be either on attacking fullback or even wingback to be able to make these runs in behind and having that width. And then, of course, you have that kind of cam and the 2 strikers linking up perfectly. And I would also advise you guys to play shadow striker on the cam to basically have, 3 attackers just running and causing chaos for your opponent in behind. So for me, 5-2-1-2, best 5-back in this year's game, even though Mike, I guess, thinks 5-4-1.
So where do I want to go? There's a classic formation that I feel like I'd like to mention. A couple different variations, but I'm going to take the 4-3-3-4 because I know there's a lot of you in the comments that love this formation. It's fun to use. It feels attacking. It feels refreshing. You can get instant counterattacks. You've got quality width. I don't know if it's going to give you the best balance defensively, but I also feel as if you have so much assistance this year on the defensive end, generally speaking. So as long as your midfield's not going crazy or not running wild, you'll have some support. So I'm going with the 4-3-3-4, final choice, lock it in. Last choice. Ollie, where are you taking us?
I mean, it would be really funny if I actually tried to pick your formation. So I'm going to guess which formation you went with. FC24, FIFA 23, bring me back, 4-3-2-1. This year, I think, obviously, is not as good as it was last year. I think 99% of players you played in Weekly League, Foot Champs, whatever you want to call it last year, 4-3-2-1 all over the place. I think this year is not as good, but it's still a very enjoyable formation, very, very attacking. You have the wingers, or cams as they are called right now. But overall, I think very, very good formation. You have the kind of midfielders as well, the 4-back. So, yeah, my last formation is going to be the 4-3-2-1.
Well, that was not my choice, so I'm happy about that. I'm going to be able to regain a selection within the formations that are left. And my last choice, I always tell people, and I'd stand by this even this year, when you're first getting a game, best starting formation to figure out what you want to adjust. It's good defensively, the spacing, everything feels as if it has a certain level of synergy. It might be too defensive, but I'm going with the 4-2-3-1. Of course, you only have the one striker, but I still think it's such a good learning formation. You could build from there. I wouldn't be surprised either. It's a solid formation now, but depending on the patches, because right now the game doesn't have quick turning unless you have extremely meta players. The passing, same situation. Too many unforced errors, in my opinion, unless you have the best players. I noticed the difference so clear between a 86 or an 87 rated gold player and an icon and a hero, and even the mid-level or the lower end icons or heroes, or even some of the new SBCs. They're not measuring one-to-one.
I agree, and overall I think, as we talk about the 4-2-3-1, I think it's a very good formation. When I started to come up in the scene and started to do well, I was playing the 4-2-3-1, and it was basically the formation that I learned to play from the start, because you learn how to play the basics. You learn how to, you generally just play the game and try to learn how to play football, in my opinion, with the 4-2-3-1. You make a lot more passes, and when you get into the box, you have this kind of 3 camps, and also the striker inside the box. So overall, I think it's a very good formation, and I think it's also the thing with the 4-2-3-1, it is a quite good formation in terms of defending elite as well, as you have that kind of cam also dropping down a bit more deeper down towards the CMs, and then you have that kind of 3-man midfield making it very compact, but also when you have the ball and your opponent is pressing you, you have the wingers and also the striker. So overall, I think it's a very, very good pick, and as you said, a very, very balanced formation, and one of the best formations ever, to be honest, in my opinion. So I mean, I think we got all the best formations, to be honest, but it would be nice for you guys if you think we missed something, because I think we covered everything, but we might have missed something, Mike, but I'm not sure.
Someone will come out with some crazy formation. There's that new formation that people are trying to sell me on. I think it's the 4-1-3-2.
Yeah.
And at that point, you could probably just pick a 4-3-3. Let us know in the comments who you think made better choices, what formation you're playing, and if you've not subscribed, if you're not watching All Elite, you're missing out on some of the best gameplay available. I wish you many luck and good fortune. You're going to need some of that at the competitive level, and I appreciate you coming onto the channel.
Thank you, Mike. As I said from the start, please subscribe to Mike as well. He's doing some really, really good and amazing content for you guys. So, yeah. Once again, Mike, thank you so much for having me on.
Always, always, always. Take care, everyone. We have a lot more content coming out ASAP.